Well, it's time for an update, and I want to share my medical stuff because I think it's really important to uh, have you friends follow along with what they're doing here and the profound effect that lifestyle changes can have on your health. You know, when I started down this road with this multiple myeloma, many people thought I was crazy. They criticized me as a nurse. They just said, you know, I was making very bad choices. And I really felt the backlash of that, even here, especially here on YouTube. You know, my family was supportive, but, you know, they struggled with my decisions. And I understood that, but I just, I trusted the Lord, and I just knew that if I could make those lifestyle changes and I could walk in faith and really walk in his providence and claim his promises, definitely his promises that he is the great physician, that I'd be all right. And I have been all right. But the problem is, ever since Black Hills, I've been putting pressure on myself and running and running and running and running. And I didn't realize how much I've been running until I came here. Totally exhausted. So the Lord has been good. And being here has just really been a lifesaver, because without coming here, I wouldn't have known the changes that I'm seeing in my health right now. And yeah, they are serious, but with lifestyle changes and with me taking hold of, you know, putting away some of these bad habits and recognizing that I do have a choice and that I do have an active part in this, and I can do all things through Christ that strengthens me. Changes can be made, and my numbers hopefully will get better. But I want to show you what we're dealing with, and I'll pan over here. So my diagnosis is I've got a diagnosis of multiple myeloma. I do have some hypertension. They found that abnormal electrocardiogram, and I have a history of supraventricular tachycardia. That's where your heart rate goes kind of out of control. They found the heart murmur while I was here. And because we have a family history of heart attacks, and so they really wanted to follow up with that with the cardiologist, which I haven't seen yet. And then I came in with other stuff like I was having a lot of abdominal discomfort because I had gotten off of my raw diet, and I was eating things I shouldn't have been eating, and boy, did it profoundly affect my stomach. But I also think it was stress, because they did diagnose me with stress. When I saw that, I had to laugh. I'm like, wow, I've really been diagnosed with stress. So I kind of had to like shake my head, like they diagnosed me with stress. Like now I'm officially diagnosed with stress. And that's how bad I really have gotten without even realizing it. You know, I got this strong walk with the Lord, and I've got this ministry where I pray with people, and that's all great. But, again, if you're not surrendering to the Lord, and that was part of my problem. Now, that's a video for another day. But anyway, back to my labs. So, praise the Lord. I had them repeat my cancer labs, because even from this summer, I thought, oh, this summer, what's going to change? Well, I'm going to tell you, there's been a profound change, and not for the good. And there's a reason for it. Stress and diet. And I want to show you. What I did. Now I'm going to show you these values as actually proof that we have a choice. We really do. We have a choice in our health and the direction that it goes. And I'm living proof that the direction that it has gone has not been a good direction because of my lifestyle choices. So take a look here. Now let me try to explain this as best I can without getting you guys into a brain freeze. Multiple myeloma. It begins in the bone marrow. And what happens is abnormal plasma cells that accumulate, and they crowd out the healthy cells, okay? They begin making neoplastic cells, and they divide. And they produce a large number of clones, all right? So these abnormal plasma cells, they make the same antibody. And that's where the kappa lambda light chains come from. This is an antibody. And the kappa is a light chain, and the lambda is a heavy chain. So what happens with this multiple myeloma, the myeloma cells, they can secrete sometimes only light chains. proteins and no heavy, or maybe just heavy. So it just depends on what type of myeloma that you have. And now the indication of the progression or the activity of your cancer and what's going on is these numbers here. And this summer, my number was not that. I believe it was elevated, but this has quadrupled within this summer. Quadrupled. And the same thing with this number here. It has never, ever, ever been this high. So that is the effects of lifestyle and stress right there. And I also have an abnormal protein band, M spike. So M spike, let me explain M spike. So the myeloma cells secrete an antibody. It's called an antibody monoclonal immunoglobulin, or M spike. And that's part of the antibody. And it's produced by those abnormal cancerous cells. When your M spike starts spiking, it shows also the progression of the disease. And this is the thing. You see it in the blood and you see it in the urine. So that's how this is diagnosed. So yeah, I was shocked when I read that. I was like really shocked because I never thought about the progression that I could get to a place where it would actually start progressing. And those numbers are, yeah, they're high. They're not good numbers. But I'm getting fever baths. I'm getting Russian steam. I'm back to my whole food plant-based diet. I've lost a little bit of weight. They're always concerned with my weight. They're like, oh, your BMI is really low. We don't want you to lose too much weight. But I felt like my body had gained weight. And if you look at some of my older videos, I did not look well at all. I can tell. But now I feel lighter. I feel fitter. I just feel so much better because I feel like my body is really becoming detox. And that's what lifestyle changes can do. I'm outside and I'm walking and I'm doing some running, I'm exercising, I'm going to bed at the same time every night, between 9 and 10. I'm getting up at 5:30. Sleep is so important. I'm putting my cell phone away. I'm doing my worship in the morning and in the evening. And it's really, it's just, the worship is beyond. And then I'm throughout the day, I'm just, it's a good environment. It's a stable environment. There's no stress here. It's making a profound effect. Now, even though the numbers are bad right now, that's why they wanted to do them at the beginning of the program, to see where I'm at. And hopefully in about a month, I'll come back and redo them and they'll be down. And then we'll have proof that the lifestyle changes actually do make a big difference. So that's where I'm at. And then I did have the echocardiogram. And luckily I saw the doctor the other day and I thought the echocardiogram was good. And apparently it's not. So the echocardiogram, I think the one thing that concerned me was the DT is severely decreased. So there's a lot of stuff going on. There's some dilation. It's all but so that really warrants a follow-up. And and that's the thing when it comes to our health. Don't ignore signs. Don't ignore any. Just don't ignore these things. This is I really want to press upon the fact that the reason why I grabbed the camera and the reason why I'm sharing this is because there's living proof that what I've been doing has not worked. The significant changes in my life is that there was increased stress. Even though I exercise and I'm like super duper good on the exercise, that alone has not carried me. My diet, too many treats. And it wasn't just treating myself with, like I went off the deep end with the binge of the peanut M&Ms, but I was doing things like, oh, let's have some pizza. I love pizza. Let's have pizza. It's okay for a treat every once in a blue moon, but I was doing it way too much. I was eating at the wrong time of the day. I wasn't snacking in between the meals. See, I was doing that right, but I was eating at the wrong time. I wasn't eating like a king in the morning. No, 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 no. So here I was going, running, doing all this stuff, and I was basically running on fumes, and then I'd refuel at the wrong time of day. And then eating past 9, 10 at night, snacking in bed while I'm doing my worship. Bad habits. Going to bed past 10, 11, 12, even though I'd get up in the morning at 5:30, I'd be going to bed at midnight sometimes. So you see, all of these things accumulate. And in order for you to really walk in good health, you have to have all the components. Don't fool yourself to think just because you're an exercise junkie that you're doing great, or you're drinking all your water and you're going for a walk, but then you're cheating or you're doing other things. It's a prescription plan by the great physician. And you got to follow it all. Otherwise, it's not going to work. And then you got nobody else to blame but yourself, and I have myself to blame. All right. There's so many of you that have followed me for a long time, and I know you all have your own health issues. And I bless you for coming here and really listening to some of the things that I have done that have kept me. I mean, come on, that is, these numbers, right? Because this myeloma, I just got done reading that with multiple myeloma, 4 years. That's what they give people. Because what it does is, as it progresses, it goes into your organs, right? And it weakens your bone, and it does all different types of bad stuff. And there is no cure for it. What they want to do is suppress the production of the light chains or the heavy chains. That's all they know how to do, is suppress it. So instead of suppressing it, I have chosen an alternative way to build up my immune system, in spite of what's going on in my bones, and in spite of what it's doing in my blood, right? So you can do that. Every disease process that's out there can be addressed with your own immune system, and we don't teach that. We don't talk about that. And I'm telling you, there's going to be proof of the pudding when you see my numbers turn around, because of the lifestyle changes that I've made. I'm sleeping at the right time. I'm putting my phone away. I'm doing everything I should be doing. Yeah, I'm getting exercise, but whole food, plant-based, and no stress. Managing things, having a schedule, going to bed at 9 o'clock at night every night. All those little changes, I tell you what, are powerful, and I see that in the people around here who are patients. It's the same thing, miracles. And it's really not hard. It's God's greatest prescription plan. All right. So raise your hand if you have hypertension. Raise your hand if you're dealing with heart disease. Raise your hand if you're dealing with diabetes or cancer. If you are, you're at the right place to make those changes. All right. Just keep following, and let's pray for each other and encourage each other. All right. God bless you. And I'll give you an update soon.